Hello everybody and welcome back to another My Porch Prints tutorials. This is Kyra and today I'm going to show you how to assemble an easy envelope journal. Now I'm not going to be doing a full decorating tutorial for today's video because I'm actually going to be using up scraps from my scrap box. So this isn't one kit, it's like a dozen different kits. So I will link a couple of different ones down in the description box that I know for sure where some of these pieces came from, like the photos and the photo frames one is pretty simple, but a lot of these pieces were just ones I picked up from my scrap box, so I won't be able to really show you a step-by-step tutorial. However, I will be showing you the tutorial for how to create the base of the journal, a little bit of decorating, and how to make a closure for the journal. So let's go ahead and jump right in here. So obviously you will be needing envelopes. We have links to these ones down in the description box in our Amazon shop if you are looking for the same envelopes that I'm using. And you're also going to need masking tape. And how this is going to work is we are going to use hinge binding to bind our two envelopes together at the seam. And it doesn't really matter which way the envelopes are rotated or flipped. You can kind of just pick however you want to do it. I decided to go ahead and hinge mine with the envelope on the right side, having kind of the actual envelope flap. So all of mine will be facing the same direction. You can also use however many envelopes you want. I think I'm going to stick to around 7, one for each day of the week, and I'll kind of talk about that a little bit later, but you can use, again, however many you want. And to hinge these together, you're just going to take a strip of that masking tape and just put it right on the seam. You might have to kind of finagle a little bit, or maybe even rearrange them to try to get them, even. We want them to line up really nicely. So that's one of the reasons I recommend the masking tape, is it's a little more forgiving, so you can take it off and kind of redo it if you need to get things straight. And it doesn't have to go from top to bottom. You can have like a shorter piece or a longer piece. It's kind of up to you. So long as we have that kind of hinge going on, it should work the same no matter what. And we're just going to keep going, adding extra envelopes, hinging them together until you are feeling like you are ready for your covers. So for this, I'm going to need an envelope from the front cover and an envelope for the back cover. And for the front cover, we want to make sure that, unlike some of my other ones, I want the flap to be on the left side here. And then on the back cover, we want the envelope flat to be on the right side, just like this. So you can kind of see how that's going to work, front and back cover. And that way, when we do our binding, like to close it, it'll align properly. So go ahead and add the front and back cover on, same way you did all of the other envelopes, using a little strip of masking tape here, just like this. So there's the front cover, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the back cover, just like that. And you will be able to see the tape along the spine, so if you want to, you can cover up the outside of your spine with like a piece of ribbon or paper or something like that to hide that. I just left mine as is for today, but as you can see here, this is kind of the base for your little envelope journal, so it's a really simple way to make a quick journal. So next kind of is kind of up to you how you want to decorate. I am going to be taking some strips of scrap paper here, and I've kind of cut them down to the right size to kind of fit in my journal. And I'm just going to be gluing them over my crease and over my tape. It's going to hide the tape so that it looks a little more neat, and it's also going to reinforce that hinge binding to make sure that my envelopes don't pull apart. So that's why I'm doing this. You don't have to do this, but it does help with the structure. So make sure to use paper, not cardstock, for this if you do this, because you don't want it to get too thick, otherwise your journal won't flip properly. And then when you do glue it down, you'll want to kind of crease your creases again so that the journal will kind of flip open and closed properly. And then from here, it's just decorating. So if you have a lot of scraps laying around like I do, this is a great project to use up some of those scraps for decorating. So I'm just kind of taking random pieces and making as many layers as I can to help get rid of some of this stuff. You can make pockets, you can make collages, it's kind of up to you. A couple of decorating tips I wanted to talk about was how to make a closure for your envelope. So I'm using a circle punch to punch a piece of cardstock here, just out of a random scrap that I had. And you can decorate this punch however you want to. I'm just gonna layer a little square piece I have on top of it, go around it with some distress ink. And then I'm gonna be adding some glue to 1/2 of the punch. Specifically for me, it's going to be on the left side. So I'm just adding a little glue here to the edge, and I'm going to glue that down to my journal, and then the edge that doesn't have any glue is what's going to be holding down the flap of my envelope. I hope that makes sense. And while that's drying, I'm going to do a little decorating on the flap of my envelope. So I did try to use some wax paper here, and you can see the glue right through it, so I'm going to cover it up and kind of show you the tutorial again here. So if you're wondering what that was, that's why that wax paper is there. But essentially you just want to find a decorative piece of paper or cardstock, and you want to make sure that it is decorative side down while you do your tracing. That way everything lines up properly. And then taking a pencil, I'm just going to trace along the outer edge of my envelope here like this. And then I can fold it shut and trace along the edge, and that's going to give me the piece that I need to cut out and glue down on top of my flap. And you could get really creative and maybe cut out 2 of these and cut them in half and have kind of like a split decoration, or you could cut one to be smaller and layer it on top. So it's kind of up to you how you want to decorate. I just sort of wanted to show this process. And you can see here how that edge just kind of tucks under that little sort of circle closure that we made, just like this. So that helps hold the envelope flaps shut so they're not, you know, flying open while you're flipping through your journal. And then from here it's just decorating, so going through and filling out all of my pages. Of course, you don't have to decorate yours beyond this point if you don't want to, it's kind of up to you. I did do a little bit of decorating on my cover here, and then for the closure what we're going to do is we're going to use a hole punch and an eyelet press to press some eyelets right into the front and back cover envelope flaps here, just like this. So it's a pretty simple process. And then I'm going to be taking some scrap ribbon that I had, and I'm going to be lacing it through the eyelets. And this is what we're going to use to help hold our journal closed. Again, this is optional. You don't have to do this. It's more decorative than anything. It's a little functional, but it really just depends on how you want to decorate your journal. So this is just what I'm doing. So showing you a little tutorial here. And then I'm just tying mine in a little bow in the front, just like this. And now I've got a cute little closure for my journal. So I'm gonna go through here and just do kind of a quick flip through to show you how I decorated in case you're looking for some ideas. But otherwise, it's just a really quick project. I was able to get it done in like a couple of hours. It was nice to use up some of my scraps and kind of try to think up ideas for the random pieces that I had and kind of find pieces that go together. So that was kind of neat. And this project, you know, there isn't a lot of writing space to make this a writing journal. You could glue down like lined paper instead of doing some of the decorating that I did. If you want this to be more of a writing journal. However, I think a really good use for a project like this would be to create like letters, like handwritten letters that you tuck into the envelopes, and you could give this as a gift to someone so that they could open it. Like I said, I used 7, so you could have one for every day of the week, so someone could open a letter from you every day. So just kind of like a little, I guess, letter gift journal for someone. So anyway, that's my idea for it, but I'm sure you could come up with other ways to use this journal. And if you do make it, I would love to see how you decorate yours and maybe what scraps you used or some ideas that you came up with. So feel free to join our Facebook group down in the description box if you haven't already, and post pictures of your project and kind of let me know what you did with it or who you gave it to. I would love to hear what ideas you came up with. So otherwise, yeah, you can see I just kind of went through and used up my scraps here, trying to kind of stick to a familiar color scheme. I did make this little pull out here, this like accordion fold with some scrap lined papers for a little bit of writing space, but nothing too crazy, just kind of going through and using up pieces. So anyway, that is my little easy envelope journal tutorial. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that you got some new ideas, some new inspirations, but otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future tutorials, videos, and freebies, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!